Suten Aten, and I just want to thank all my family and friends, the ones who have been watching my videos. It's very encouraging, and been subscribing to my videos so you'll know when my new videos come out. I also like to thank J Love because she's been so encouraging and really behind me, and I just thank all of you for your participation. I'm going to go straight into an aspect of astrology. I was going to go into numerology, but I think I want to do is kind of on me to present to you a certain aspect of astrology. There are 10 planets and 12 signs. And so there's certain things I'm going to be repeating to you so that you can really get into your head why I have, through research and through meditation and revelation, know and feel the validity in what makes astrology valid. In my prior video, I talked about us evolving as human beings on this planet and how astrology is the mother of all sciences. It started before any type of religion. It started before any type of philosophies, because we as human beings, when we was on this planet and evolving in this planet, we began to synchronize with the planets. And that's a powerful concept, because in synchronizing, we became connected. So before there were any type of devices that exist for mathematics, all that came after astrology. Science came after astrology. And so the validity of it is based on that we are connected to a macrocosm, or the big universe, and we are a microcosm, a small universe. And so from a psycho-spiritual standpoint, the ancients who lived were able to itemize different aspects of what we call self. So we have the sun, what it represents. We have the moon and what it represents. And all planets represents different aspects of being human. The sun represents the spirit. And you will see a sign that will be a circle with a dot in it. And symbolism is a powerful discipline, and it's a powerful education to dwell in symbolism, because it tells you and reaches certain aspects of yourself that conversation can't, a book can't. Knowing and seeing a particular symbol will give you insight, because it connects not only to the conscious, it connects to the subconscious and your DNA. It connects with that, and you gain a personal revelation through study and looking at particular symbols. And so when you look at the symbol of the sun is a symbol of a circle, which is symbolic to life in the universe. There's no beginning and no end. And for us to be able to even conceive or think about that, we have to dwell inside. Because as I said before in the previous video, what we call nothing is something. Space is something. Just because we can't touch space and we are walking through space all the time, we have been conditioned to think that space is nothing. But space is something. Meditate on that. Space is substance. And so with that in mind, there's a particular, it just came to me today. I don't know why I chose to want to talk about an aspect of self called the moon. And the time that you were born, the day that you were born, the year that you were born, the position of the moon is in a particular, what we call sign. Okay. So the sign is the voice, and the planet is the speaker. And so the reason why I know why I'm talking about the moon today is because J Love and I was talking about something that I said in the previous video that today the moon is in different signs, but today in particular the moon is in Scorpio. And what the moon represents, it has different layers of symbolism. From a personal level, the moon represents feelings, emotions, your temperament, different moods, the things that you thought you forgot but became a part of you. The first 7 years of your life is governed by what we call the moon. And the moon, if you notice, changes. You have the new moon, you have the full moon, and then sometimes you have a half moon. So the moon is always changing, so that gives you insight from a psychological standpoint, a psycho-spiritual standpoint, on how emotions and feelings are changeable. You can feel one way one day and feel another way the next. When the moon is in a particular sign, then the moon will assume and absorb the energies of that sign. And today the moon is in Scorpio. So what does that mean? Now you have the personal aspect, what I told you that personally it means the emotions and feelings, desires, temperaments, and your needs. How you relate to females and women. Whether you're male or female, the moon represents also your mother. So a natal chart will reveal to you where the moon is in a horoscope, or natal chart rather. It will show you how your mother affected you, how she enabled you to become human. Because the power and the connection that a mother has to a child, and how that mother is able to connect with that child will be influenced by that relationship for the rest of their life. And that child will take on some of the trauma or the good times that they had in relation to their mother. So much so that a woman has to be mindful and be careful, because not only that it represents the first 7 years of life, it also represents when the child is in the womb of the mother. And so with that in mind, that means that whatever that the mother is thinking about, her feelings, her emotions, her happiness, if she's listening to music, if she's sad, if she's depressed, if she's active, all these different energies and all these different things that she's participating in, the child feels, and the child would be a living personification of the experiences that the child had in the mother's womb. And then when the child leaves out of the womb, that connection will also influence. So that's why me personally, when I see a mother or I see any woman, I give them the utmost respect, because being a woman and being female ain't no joke. There's different levels of being what we call a woman, because you have a female, you have a woman, you have a queen, and you have a goddess. And so those 4 levels are something that's somewhat difficult now, because music, the media, and food has, to a very large degree, and it's a strategy, has changed the perceptions by which some women look at themselves. And you are so powerful, you are so needed. Your position, your emotions and your feelings and how you look at yourself will definitely and literally change the face of this planet. That's how powerful a woman is. It says that if a child learns from a man, he learns about particular things, but if he learns from a mother and a woman, he learns the mental, spiritual, and emotional aspects of life. So the moon encompasses all of that. And so that's why it's so powerful in a chart. That's one of the first things that when I do a natal chart, the moon is very powerful. I'm looking to see what type of aspects that the person went through. And I can see that psychologically and emotionally where the moon is positioned and the aspects to the moon. But I want to go from the personal to the mundane. Now the moon also represents, the moon goes through a sign, is cyclic, goes through a sign 2.5 days. And whatever sign that it is, it's like a message to the planet. It's a message to humanity and the human beings on the planet, the plants, the ground, the behavior patterns of human beings and individuals are influenced heavily by the moon and what sign it's in. So by the moon being in Scorpio, we're dealing with deep emotional feelings. With the moon in Scorpio, we're dealing with things that we might have thought we forgot. When the moon is in Scorpio, sometimes past life or past traumas will arise up. It's a time when one becomes more aware of sexuality. It's a strong impulse to connect with someone on a spiritual level. And for the ones who may not have looked at all the videos, the one that deals with sex, that will be a powerful reminder and a powerful platform for you to look at in relation to Scorpio and what I'm saying with the moon in Scorpio. So when the moon is in Scorpio, then the planet in people will be more intense, be more sensitive, and they'll be more mindful of death. Sometimes someone, if it's been close to them, has possibly died in the last month or the last year or period. It could be your mom or your dad that might have passed 5 or 6 years ago. With the moon in Scorpio, sometimes it brings up the remembrance of that person that was special to you, that person that you loved. And the purpose of it is not to make you sad, but to remember and understand how life and death are so connected, in that we treat who we love and who we're living like we know that they may not be here the next day. That's a Scorpio emotional type of experience for life and death to come together. And J Love and I were speaking about death and how some people feel that after a certain period of time that we're supposed to get over the grief of death. But we said that it's the participation in knowing that you can't stop necessarily grieving because it can come back, but you participate in an activity that lets you know what the lesson is in being here on this planet, that we came here so that we can leave. And that the powerful aspect of the moon being in Scorpio is that we have to learn, and we should learn, that deep traumatic incidents in our lives are powerful lessons to let us know that we came here so that we can leave. And that the people that we say that we love them today, we love them, we call them, we see about them. We tell them that we love them, because at any day and at any time, you could leave or your loved one could leave. And the things that you may have argued about, the things that you may have had, I don't know, it's, how relationships can be and how family can be, how you can be disconnected and get angry over particular things. You find out that those things, when you look at it from a larger viewpoint and a larger view, that the things that you might have debated about or argued about, when the person leaves the body, you see that it was nothing. It wasn't even important. We also discussed what I experienced with my mom, and she discussed with me what she experienced with her mom, because Moon in Scorpio, Scorpio also represents silence. Woo! Silence is all the noise I need. And I remember when my mother, when I saw her in that casket, there was a deep inner silence that spoke so loud. Jay told me that at her mother's homegoing, people came up and they spoke, and they were saying how powerful and how beautiful and how caring her mother was. And she heard it, and a person sung. You know how your homegoings are. People sing and they say this and that, but above or below all that, there was a deep silence. And the silence speaks so loud, because really what it says is that, wow, I'm sitting here. And what happened to me that was so deep is that when I sat down, the life between me and my mother and how we connected flashed in front of me. It was like 10 seconds, our whole life flashed in front of me. The times that she dressed me up and put me in a suit and a hat and everything, and we went to go see the Motown Review, her and I, and she took me to see James Brown. Every time in Detroit there was a Motown Review and a James Brown Review at the Fox Theater, and all that just flashed in front of me. So it also made me see, when you talk about Scorpio, you talk about death. First of all, there's no such thing as death as people have conditioned themselves to think of. Death is not a period. Death is a comma. Again, we came here so we could leave. So my mother left the body. She wasn't in that body anymore. J Love's mother wasn't in that so-called casket anymore. She was in another dimension. And Scorpio deals with that also, because during the time the moon is in Scorpio, you may see spiritual entities during this time, or ones who are sensitive to that type of reality. You will see entities. You will feel entities, because Scorpio deals with the esoteric. Esoteric meaning hidden, okay? Or the occult. Not nothing like witchcraft occult. I'm not talking about that anything. That occult means secret, behind the scene. And so, with the moon in Scorpio, as it is today, and I will speak about the moon and the other signs, that will be part of my videos. But today, because the moon is in Scorpio, I wanted to elaborate on that sign and the moon. So I repeat it again, that the moon represents in our chart, in relation to us as human beings, the moon represents emotions, feelings, instincts, reactions, what we experience in the womb of our mothers. The first 7 years of our lives, we are open. So the moon represents being open. The moon represents changes that we go through within ourselves. And of course, in the sign, how those changes will manifest will be through that particular sign, which today is Scorpio, and it deals with deep, spiritual, esoteric, spiritual entities, death as a comma, not as a period, and that we as human beings have to die every day. In order to live, you have to die. So the sign Scorpio represents that. And again, I repeat again, that the so-called signs, the 12 different signs, represents 12 different human experiences. And so whether you were born at a particular time, you were born at the time of Leo, whether you're born at the time of Virgo, you still are going to experience these different 12 aspects of life and being human. You're still going to experience Scorpio, even though you Virgo. Because all those also are just labels and clothes that the soul wear. And you have to make that distinction. That a lot of people make the mistake of saying, well, this person is a Virgo, this person is a Taurus, and all that. Well, you have to really be learned in understanding astrology from a more in-depth understanding. Because the sun sign is very superficial. I mean, some people will act out the clothes that they're wearing because that's all what a sign is. The soul itself is that X factor. The soul itself and how evolved it is. Someone asked me, I don't know, I think they were Taurus, and they say, well, am I compatible with this, with a Gemini? And I said, compatibility doesn't necessarily have anything to do with a sign. It's your consciousness, how high your consciousness is. Signs don't define you. Signs don't tell you who you are. It just shows you how you drive your car. That's all what it is. If you can imagine being inside a car and you're driving, that's your soul driving that car. You inside that car. The body of that car is surrounded you. And that's what happens from a spiritual standpoint and when we come to the physical plane. We come down to the physical plane, soul, and the soul takes on a car, metaphorically a body, a human body. How that soul drives the car, how that soul participates in the different routes that it takes, depends on that particular soul. So I say that, and I'm going to end. There are many videos that's coming up, and I'm going to be speaking about the different planets, the moon, the sun, Venus, Mars, Mercury, natal charts. My next video, I'm going to also incorporate numerology because you have different aspects that numerology can bring out. Some people, when it comes to astrology, it's kind of complex. But the next video, we're going to talk about what you call the life path. The life path is a combination of the month, day, and year of birth. And then what you have a life path number, because there's 5 core principles when you're dealing with numerology that would give you an all-around perspective of your purpose on the planet. And that first one is the month, day, and year, which I'm going to see if I can illustrate that on the camera. Month, day, and year, which is the life path. Life path shows you what route you're supposed to take on this planet. Life path tells you your innate qualities and talents that you have. So you will know what your purpose is. The destiny number is derived from the alphabet and letters of your name. That's the destiny. The soul number is taken from the vowels in your name. This tells you real show enough what the quality of your soul and what you're here to do from a spiritual standpoint. And then you have the personality number, which is derived from the consonants in your name. We're going to go over that. And then last but not least, you have what you call the maturity number, which is the combination of your life path and your destiny number. It's going to be exciting. You're going to really like it. It's very powerful, very simple, and very enlightening. That's the method that I do when people come to me, they want to get a quick analysis. If I don't know what their chart is or what time they were born, then we go from a numerological standpoint. And the day is important. Like, in there's certain numbers that are very different. We talk about the number 11. People who are born on the 11th and the 22nd, those are what you call master numbers. So people that are born on the 11th There's a powerful side and there's a shadow. But that's how life is. We as individuals, we have a light and we have a shadow. The light aspects of 11 are your teachers that teach on a higher level, on a metaphysical level. They see things, they hear things, they experience things that the average person doesn't experience. So 11 and the 29th. The 11th and the 29th, because 2 plus, because what I explain in the future and still reiterate to you every time I talk to you about numerology, because you got to get it in your head, because it's a different concept and a different approach of learning. That every double digit is broken down into a single digit. What does that mean? So if you're born on the 14th, 1 plus 4 is 5. That means that you were born on a 5 personal day. If you were born on the 16th, 1 plus 6 is 7. Your personal number for that day of your birth is 7. And all those numbers have characteristics. And what I will do is I'm going to break down the numbers behind, because the 16th, for instance, 1 plus 6 is 7. But the 16th is a powerful number because it's karmic, which means that it's in other lives. This particular person, the 16th, 1 and 6, had to decide between how they were going to live their life from an independent way and go on their path, but at the same time accommodate someone who they are closely intimate with in relationships, family. So people that are born on the 16th would have a difficult time during certain periods of time trying to live what they need to live for themselves, but at the same time accommodating family, friends, or relationships. So relationships and family will be a challenge, but that challenge is because in past lives, your karmic numbers are 16, 14, 13, 10, 19. And so when you have a karmic number, that means that in your other lives, there was things that you were supposed to do that you didn't do. And now in this life, it's time for you to get it straight. Doesn't make you a good person or a bad person. And getting back to the 11, as I said before, the 11s are your avatars. What do you mean when you say avatar? An avatar is a human being that has come to this planet, or a soul that's come to this planet that has a message for humanity. So people who are born on the 11th and the 29th have what you call master numbers. And the people say, oh, wow, I got a master number. J Love, her life path is 11. I can say it over Facebook. So that makes her a person who has a mission to speak out from a spiritual standpoint. She sees things. She hears things. She's aware of things that the average person doesn't have a clue. So either if your life path is 11 and or you're born on 11th day, on the 11th, then these properties and these characteristics you have. Again, I'm going to repeat it because I'm going to go to the other side. It means that you have a message. It means that you are spiritual. It means that you are very sensitive to other dimensions. You will have dreams. You will have those, what they call aha moments, revelations. Some you will need to keep to yourself because people won't understand it. And they'll think you tripping or think you crazy because you're vibrating on another level. Okay? That's the positive light side of 11. The dark side or the shadow part of 11, it can be a person who is hypersensitive, who could have mental challenges because they don't understand what their purpose is. So because they don't understand what their purpose is, then they will be very sensitive to spirits in other dimensions that will come upon them, and they won't understand why, but they will have mental challenges in being balanced, can be extremely emotional, can be extremely negative, can go over the top, can be, it's like, wow, what's wrong with this person? So, to have a master number is a very, very serious situation. But it's also a powerful information. And that's why you have individuals who go into deep study. I've known a lot of people in my life, family members who are 11. And the 11 ain't no joke. It ain't no joke. And as I said again, the light side of it is that they're brilliant people, intuitive people, get messages from other planes. But as I said before, that same gift can be a curse if they don't know how to use it, if they don't understand that they're not like other people in that they can't do what other people do. They can't say what other people say. They can't eat what other people eat. They can't do it. The master numbers requires 11, 29, and 22 to live on a certain level. Anything less than that, well. So, in my videos, I'm going to be going through all of that. Astrology, numerology, metaphysics. And it's going to be powerful. And I thank all of you again for subscribing to Suten Aten YouTube. I guarantee you that the things that's going to come is going to be very interesting and very spiritually powerful for you, Mercury retrograde. Powerful for you, and I know you will enjoy it. Thank you so much. I love all of you. Hotel.